So there's one thing to be progressive, and then there's another thing to be ultra progressive. Now let me give you the aqua definition of progressive and ultra progressive. Now being progressive is one who seeks changes where change is needed, like certain laws, certain cultural norms that was once acceptable and now is no longer acceptable. That's when being progressive, that's progressive. Now, ultra progressive is when you allow your emotions to make change by any means necessary. It's like when you try to make change and the change doesn't happen as soon as you want it to happen, then you try to force it. You get angry, and then you just get emotional. And now you're no longer dictated by your brain. You're no longer dictated by logic. You're dictated by your emotions. So that would be progressive and ultra progressive is. The NWSL is in no room to threaten cities that they will not have a franchise if they don't support a certain law, if they don't support a certain ideology. Jessica Bierman, your league is still young. And to be honest, a lot of people don't even know who you are. There's even some people in your city that never even heard of NWSL. I don't hear a lot of people rushing to Twitch to watch an NWSL game. I don't hear about a lot of people rushing to Paramount Plus or CBS Sports Network to watch an NWSL game. NWSL, you're in the same situation as the MLS and the USL. American soccer in general is still a young sport. In terms of popularity, it's still young. And to be honest, whether it's men, whether it's women, a lot of Americans really don't care about American soccer. They're more interested in European soccer. They're more interested in Mexican soccer. But when it comes to American soccer, American traditional football, a lot of Americans don't really pay much attention to it. Therefore, Jessica Bierman, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage rather than an advantage by threatening cities who don't support your ideology that you will not start a team in their city. You, NWSL, and Jessica Bierman, think y'all flexing your muscles of some sorts by putting out such threat. But in reality, you're only hurting yourself. Because Jessica Bierman, your league is not on the same level as the NBA. You can't do what the NBA did in 2017 in regards to North Carolina's bathroom bill, and they decided not to host the All-Star game in Charlotte. NWSL, you have not reached that level. The potential is there, but you're not there yet. And the people that you will hurt the most, Jessica Bierman, is little girls in the South. Now, why do I say little girls in the South? Well, Jessica Bierman, when it comes to, women's reproductive rights, we know the states that are heavily resistant to such. It's largely states in the South. So you are going to punish little girls in Atlanta, Nashville, New Orleans, Tampa, Orlando, Miami, Charlotte, Knoxville, Raleigh, Durham. You're going to punish little girls in the South who love the game of soccer and I would love to see an NWSL team in their city. But because their favorite league wants to play politics and punish certain cities for not supporting their ideological views, therefore, that little girl in Charlotte, that little girl in Atlanta, that little girl in New Orleans will not be able to cheer for an NWSL team of her own. As a result of that, NWSL, you're going to lose that vulnerable little girl to another league, WNBA, gymnastics, track and field. A potential superstar athlete in the Southeast that you can have Jessica Bierman in your league someday. You're going to miss out on that just because you want to play politics and you think you're flexing your political muscles. You think that you're on the same level as the NBA and you have some sort of clout. Jessica Bierman, the NWSL is not on that level yet. The NWSL is not popular. The NWSL can't flex its muscles like that. What you should be doing, Jessica Bierman, is trying to expand to as much cities as possible. You see, Jessica Bierman, because when you expand to as much cities as possible, then many people become familiar with your face. There's a reason why the MLS and the USL is expanding to as much cities as possible. Because more Americans need to notice them. More Americans need to recognize them. More Americans need to know who they are. And then once Americans know who they are, Americans will become more familiar with them. You see, Jessica Bierman, you got to learn how to shake hands with the devil. If you act out of anger and decide not to choose to expand to certain cities because they don't share the same beliefs as you become an exclusive institution. And that is against the core values of American soccer. American soccer is supposed to be open to everybody, regardless of religion, regardless of race, regardless of political views, regardless of ideologies. And what you're doing, Jessica Bierman, what you're practicing, Jessica Bierman, is the total opposite. You're practicing exclusion out of emotion and out of anger. Jessica Bierman, you got to learn how to shake hands with the devil. Now, what I mean by that, shaking hands with the devil does not mean you're best friends with the devil. Shaking hands with the devil doesn't mean that y'all hang out and y'all get along and y'all have the same views. Shaking hands with the devil means that you're doing business with him or her in order to get what you want out of that business relationship. So this is why you have to expand to as many cities as possible. Because when you do that, more people will become familiar with you. And once more people become familiar with you, then they will learn more about your ideologies. Then they'll learn more about your views. Then they'll learn more about who you are. And as a result of that, they will start to support you. But if nobody knows who you are, Jessica Bierman, how are you going to be able to get the change that you want? When you expand to these different cities, Jessica Bierman, you will come across people who share the same views as you. There's people in Atlanta, Jessica Bierman, that shares the same views as you. There's people in Charlotte. There's people in Knoxville. There's people in Nashville. There's people in Birmingham. There's people in Orlando, Tampa, Jacksonville that shares the same views as you and that supports you. But guess what, Jessica Bierman? They're not as strong as you. This is why they need somebody like you to expand to their city in order for them to work with you, in order for you to be able to get the change that you want. So Jessica Bierman, don't turn into an exclusive institution. As a matter of fact, Jessica Bierman, you should be targeting every major city in states that does not have the same views as you, that is against women's reproductive rights. You should be targeting every city, every major city in that state, in those states. So you should be targeting every major city in the Southeast, every major city in the Midwest. Those should be your major targets. Because when you expand to those cities, Jessica Bierman, there's an army of people waiting to support you to get work started. And it's going to be those people, Jessica Bierman, to help you get the change that you want to see.